What's up, guys? I'm Coach Mike, and we have two special guests with us today for our Move Everyday podcast. Let's start with Coach Alyssa. Coach Alyssa, welcome.
Hi.
Hi. So this is Alyssa, guys. Alyssa's from Byram, and I'm going to give her a chance to introduce herself and maybe talk a little bit about where she came from, how she ended up at Byram, how long she's been there, and where Byram is. So if any of you guys listening to this are in the general area and you want to go check it out, so go ahead, Coach Alyssa.
Sure. So I started working out at Red Shed CrossFit in 2012. And then I moved over to Madison. So I went to a gym in Morristown and just really loved exercising every day. So that's where I began. And then I found Byram. I moved back to this area and found the opportunity to coach. So I took it on. And I've been there since last August when we opened. We are located on 20 Continental Drive in Stanhope.
Cool. And for people that don't know, but may be familiar with the area, that's basically like right off of 80. And you can get there from a couple different spots, but like 46 over by the trade center or whatever it's called, trade zone.
Yes.
Right. And then Waterloo Road on the other side. And I'm not super familiar with the area, but yeah, it's a lot easier to find than you think. It's hidden back there, but it's there. Cool. So Alyssa, who do you have joining us today from Byram?
We have Laura.
Hi, guys.
Sorry, there's a big... All right, Laura, welcome to our Strong Together Move Everyday podcast. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and give us, kind of like Alyssa did, a little bit of your background, where you came from, and how you ended up over at Byram.
Hi, guys. So I'm Laura. I have come from a little bit further afield, actually, than Alyssa. So in case you can't tell, I'm not from around here. I grew up in Australia for most of my life, working for a company well known by most people in this New Jersey area called Mars. So we manufacture the M&Ms and the Snickers and the Mars bars and everything that we all like to eat on our days off from working out, right? So I worked with them for 8 years before I took the opportunity to move over here. With my husband and my family, we packed up and we moved in January of 2018. Before that time, I used to enjoy working out, but with the career and having two small children, it was deprioritized in my life, which was unfortunate at that point in time. But we moved here. It took about a year or so to set up our lives because we'd packed up literally everything that we owned and had to move it to the other side of the world. And we had to deal with understanding a new culture, understanding a new way of living, buying a house, settling back into the community, and basically finding our footing again. And then a good friend of mine who's also part of the Strong Together family, Brianne, invited me to come along to a Bring a Friend Day at the Hackettstown CrossFit back in probably February of this year. And it just felt like I'd found my place again. It hurt. Oh my God, I was so sore for a solid week, but I knew that I wanted to do more. So Hackettstown was a little bit out of the way for me, but then I found the Byram CrossFit. So I work in the ITC just here in the International Trade Centre in Mount Olive or Stanhope. So it takes me less than 10 minutes to run out of work and get down to the gym. So I came and checked out the facility, and Alyssa and Cara and the rest of the coaches there were so welcoming. I signed up, and before long, I started with 1 day a week. Coach Cara said to me, when you find your home and when you find your place, you will find more time. And she was right. Before the end of a month, I was coming 3 times a week, and I have been ever since for the last 7 months.
Awesome. So about 7 months ago. Cool. Well, first of all, I think I should just clear things up. Australian accents are my favorite accent in the whole world. I don't know why, but I watch a lot of like CrossFit stuff that comes from Australia. I don't know if you're aware, but a lot of high level CrossFitters actually are from Australia. Obviously, Tia Claire Toomey being the biggest name. She's won the games now, I guess, three years in a row. What was the biggest, like, first of all, when you say you packed everything up, like, how do you get a house over here? Like, how does that even work? You just put it on a ship or something? Like, not a house, obviously, but you get all of your stuff. Like, how does that work going across, a couple oceans to get here?
It was kind of crazy. We probably didn't give the transition the respect that it deserved. We were like, what's the worst thing that can happen? My husband and I have always been the kind of couple that we just jump right in. We're here to enjoy our life and we're here to explore what comes across us. So we were willing to take the risk. So we got rid of a lot of stuff. And basically what we could bring with us was the amount that we could fit in a cargo hold on an aeroplane. That was it. We had to pack our lives into about 10 boxes. And then we jumped on a plane and that was it. So we arrived here, the two of us, our two small children and our cat. And we lived in a hotel room just down the road, again, from the gym, the residence in Alyssa. You probably drive past it every day. We lived there for about 4 months while we figured out how to buy cars, how to buy houses. It was a fun time in the middle of winter. So that was probably the challenge as well. We left Australia and it was, I'm going to speak Celsius, but it was 40 degrees Celsius, which is maybe 110 Fahrenheit. And we arrived in New York and it was like 10. So we were dealing with everything in opposite to what we were used to.
Wow.
It was a good time.
Talk about culture shock.
It was, but we wouldn't be where we are today. We have no regrets. 2 years in and we love what we have here.
That's awesome. Is there a fall in Australia or like this season that we're kind of moving into right now, or is it just like summer and winter?
Pretty much. We have a little bit of a fall, but most of our trees are not deciduous. I think because we have such a dry climate, a lot of our trees are eucalyptus, so they don't fall. So this was new to us. Snow was new to us. Where we were in Australia was a little bit further south, so we didn't have the humidity either. So we've literally had to adjust to the first time we've had life with all 4 seasons throughout a year.
Wow. Was there any type of fitness going on down in Australia for you guys? Any type of, whether it's CrossFit or anything that you and the family were into as far as fitness goes?
Yeah, so we've always been an active family. We've always done lots of hiking and things like that. Sports that you are not aware of over here. So I used to play netball just socially with a group of friends, which is like basketball, but when you catch the ball, you can't run anymore. You should look it up. It's pretty fast. And then my husband played Australian rules football as well, which again is very fast. It's kind of like NFL, but a bit quicker and with no headgear. So it's a very high contact sport. So he played that. And then I was playing netball. And then with the kids, we were just trying to keep as active as we could. I was seeing a personal trainer that had kind of a CrossFit outlook. So some of the movements were not completely unfamiliar when I joined Strong Together. But like I said, there was a few years where my kids were so small and my work-life balance was less than ideal. So I didn't have enough time to commit as what I should have had.
Gotcha. Cool. So your friend told you about Strong Together, and Brienne, I'm assuming that's Brienne Cullen or?
Brienne Law.
Brienne Law. Okay. Okay, perfect. So you came and tried it out. Was I there when you came or no?
No. And I can't remember who the coach was.
That's okay. If it was in the evening, it was Jess or John or Nate or Liz or one of the million coaches that coach the evening classes. But okay, awesome. So you came to Hackettstown, you tried one out, and like everybody, you were sore as heck for a couple days. Because like people don't realize if you're not working out that much and then you work out once really hard and then you don't work out much again for the next day or couple week or whatever, that's like the recipe for the most soreness you've ever had in your life. So
it literally was. That's what happened to me. And two-story houses are not a thing in Australia either. So my husband had a whole lot of enjoyment watching me crawl up the stairs because I could not figure out how to walk.
That's great. That's awesome. Okay, cool. So you came and you said that it felt like you found something that you know were interested in or liked, or what I guess what kind of caught you in terms of exercise? What maybe did you find that you didn't necessarily expect, or is that pretty much how Brienne described it, or you know what was it about that first class that kind of drew you in?
It's the pace, it's the intensity, and it's the way the classes are compact. So I do have a very busy time juggling work, family, trying to be the best mother that I can with my kids when I'm not at work, trying to be the best version of myself for my team when I am at work. So my time is limited to but what I realized was my family was my priority, my work was my priority, but myself was never my priority. So when I needed to start making time for myself, I needed to just be able to fit it into small pockets. So an hour of a CrossFit class was about as much as I could manage, and that's all I committed at the start, was that 1 hour pocket of time to invest in myself each week. So CrossFit enabled me to do that in a really intense way, where I could and get to the end of the class, and while you're moving, you're doing lots of small movements in short time frames. But when you get to the end and you add it all up, it's this intense feeling of pride, like, oh my God, I managed to do all of that in 30 minutes. Like, so that was kind of what I really liked as well. And you can really measure the outcomes that you have from every session.
Awesome. I think it's important to touch on something you said there, that your family was your priority, your work was your priority, but you weren't your priority. Many people don't, or many people are still struggling, or maybe haven't even reached that hurdle yet. But if they did, they're struggling to take that step and make themselves a priority. Why was it important for you to do so? And did you realize that you needed that beforehand, or was it kind of afterward when you got that feeling of accomplishment, that that feeling of pride in yourself? And I'm assuming you started to feel different, look different, and was it after the fact that you were like, wow, I guess I was important? How did you come to the realization that you needed to be a priority as well?
Um, so I think it was probably after that first class. I went home and my husband said, "How was it?" And I said, "I really liked that. I think I'd like to go back again." And he said, "Absolutely, like most supportive guy you've ever met." So and he had started probably 6 months earlier on his own investment journey. He does jiu-jitsu 3 days a week as well. So he probably recognized in himself how much better he was feeling through that sort of journey that he was on. So he could recognize when I said to him that I was starting to realize I needed to do something similar. And then so it was probably after that first class when I really got that sense of accomplishment and I really wanted to explore it some more. And then when I walked into the Strong Together gym and I met Cara and then I met Alyssa, and I started with a 10 pass membership, which I used up in 3 weeks. So I realized that was a bad idea, because once you start, you can't stop. And yeah, from that point onwards, it started out with just a 1 hour a week commitment in myself. And then, exactly to your point, I started to see changes in my overall emotional balance. So I could see that I was able to maintain positive energy for longer during the day. It really gave me an outlet as well. So it gives me the time that I spend at the gym is time when I'm facing inwards, because the rest of my day I'm facing outwards. So I'm talking to my team, I'm talking to customers and stakeholders at work, I'm spending my time on the phone. I go home and I'm talking to my family, I'm reading books with my kids, I'm doing their homework with them. So I'm always outward facing. But at the gym, I can face inwards and I can focus on myself and I can find my inner balance. So that's what I really wanted to do. And starting with 1 day a week and now moving to 3 or 4 days a week, I find that time spent on my inner balance, it makes me more effective at work. It makes me a better mother at home. It makes me a better wife. It makes my energy is more balanced and I feel more wholesome as a person.
Yeah, that's something that we talk a lot about as coaches is leading and leading yourself before you can lead others. And a lot of people will focus on everybody else, everything else, and try to spread themselves, very thin. And I know it sounds cliche, spreading yourself thin, and I think in today's society that's just normal. It's like, oh, you just work until you're dead, and then hopefully your kids have a good life, and you had a good life and everything. But ultimately you can pay, you can do all of those tasks that much better if you can lead yourself first. If you fill up your cup first, then you can fill everybody else's even more than you were before. I think that's important for people to realize. Awesome. So you started with like a 10-day pass thing, which many of us don't even do because we know how quickly that's going to go. It's kind of pointless. So we kind of just say, all right, well, are you going to be here for like a year or 10 years? Which one do you want to sign up for? Because we know people stay. We know people stay when they join. So so you filled that up pretty quick, and at the time you were your original goal was maybe one hour a week, and now you're doing at least 3 hours. It sounds like probably more. Just from a physical standpoint, I guess, I don't want to get into all the nitty gritty of like, hey, what's your waist size? But how fun is it? How fun has it been? Have you learned new things? What's the experience been like over at Byram for you? Who's your favorite coach, and what's your favorite exercise? No, I'm just kidding.
I was going to say, Alyssa's here, right?
She cannot say me.
Well, what's it been like over there? I understand you're doing like different classes now. You're doing some of the WODs and the all outs, and like what's it like right now? What kind of situation are you in right now with your fitness?
Yeah, so I came in at baseline, and I mean baseline. Like those guys would send me out on a 400-meter run, and I would come walking back in thinking I was about to die. And just through that, you just have to get the job done. You have to keep challenging yourself. You have to keep focusing on what you're doing and why you're there. That's important. And realizing that you're in the gym and you're working for yourself, but you're also with a bunch of people and everybody's supporting each other. And these people, when everybody's in the gym together, we're like family. Like we help each other clean up, we help each other set up, we help each other when things get hard, we push each other together. We make sure that everybody's getting to the end in a way that is helping everybody get the outcomes that they need from those sessions. So, I mean, I started in February, and I think, well, we're now in October, and I'm running a couple of miles. So it has been, when you focus on what you want to get out of it and you put in as much as you can to get out of it as much as you can definitely see the results. And you can see it's not just about, we've spoken a lot about the emotional stuff, but I can definitely see the physical changes in my body as well, in my strength, in my endurance, and in my stamina, and just in the way that even the small things, like the way I'm sitting in my chair at work, the way I get through my work day, I feel different at the end because I just have more core strength in my body. My body is working better for me right now than it ever has.
That's awesome. Speaking of work, you're not like a taste tester over there, are you?
No. But I don't think I could do that job.
That's pretty cool though.
I hear they have bowls of candy all over though.
Oh, they do. You have to have some self-control over here, that's for sure.
Are you making your own meals and bringing them in each day, or you guys have like a cafeteria over there that you go to?
I try and make and bring in, but then we don't have a cafeteria on site here. I'm in a smaller building. At the main building just down the street, they do have an on-site cafeteria.
Gotcha.
They have lots of healthy options in place. So they do have it is a really healthy work environment as well.
Gotcha. Cool. Awesome. So what, I mean, is there anything else important that you feel like you should share with other people? Maybe any experiences that you've had, or just things that you know, assumed that you would find in fitness, in trying to make yourself better, or, any just life lessons that you've learned in general. For lack of a better word, I'm kind of out of questions. I think you covered a lot of it, but is there anything else that kind of outside the box that you're like, I didn't think about this, or I found this, or, I'm better at this now, or, anything involved in, your life or your fitness?
I do think it was the emotional piece that I wasn't expecting. So I knew I needed to make a change from my physical angles of life. I knew that I needed to do something there, but what I wasn't expecting to find was that emotional balance. And I think the message that I would have for people considering joining CrossFit, and I hope people join the Strong Together family as well, is that you have to try it out. So come and see what it's like. Come to a Bring a Friend Day. You'll see the culture that we have, and it's something that I'm really proud to be a part of, the environment that we have down there in the Byram facility. I love going to the gym and seeing these people that have moved from people I would hang out at the gym with to people that I'm now proud to call my friends. I think it's something really unique when you find that in a gym, when you find this place to call your home away from home. It makes you want to come more often, and it makes you want to work out. And I'm really, really proud to be a part of it.
Awesome. Coach Alyssa, anything you want to say about Laura? You want to brag about her a little bit? We have a minute or so left, or just maybe the journey you've seen her kind of go through in her time so far.
Yeah, we are just so proud of you. You're always pushing. You want to better yourself, and you have those deep reasons. You know your why, and when you bring that why to the table, everything just falls into place, and you're doing that. So just keep trucking.
Oh, thanks, Coach.
Keep on keeping
You're welcome.
Awesome. Well, Laura, we want to say thank you so much for sharing your story. I know it was relatively brief. We could probably go for hours and hours about Australia and about chocolate and everything else, but I think we got the main points out of there, and I think it's really beneficial for people to hear if they've maybe never done any type of fitness, or they're considering it, or they feel like they can't spend time on themselves, and they have to they have these other things that are kind of getting in the way in their life. I don't think you have any excuses. You moved across the world, and you have kids and a cat, for crying out loud. I mean, if you can take care of your cat and work out, then I think anybody can do it.
You are so welcome. Thanks for inviting me along here. It's been great to meet you, Mike. It's been great to catch up.
Awesome. So if anybody out there is watching this and you're interested in learning more about Strong Together or any of its locations, you'll go to moveeverydayproject.com. It's right there on our screen here, Move Every Day, and then just throw project at the end.com, and pick a location that's closest to you, and then you can learn more about the coaches there, the programs. Reach out for someone, put your info in. If you have any questions, someone would be happy to reach out to you and answer more questions, and possibly give you a date for our next Bring a Friend Day so that you can come in and try it out like Laura did. And that's going to do it for this week. Thanks again, Alyssa and Laura, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.